Hey folks, Fernando doing another video for more survivalists, and this is going to be 5 guns every survivalist or prepper should own. Number 1 shouldn't be a surprise for anyone following this channel for a while. It's going to be a quality handgun. You may have seen our videos where the first gun suggested is either a shotgun or a rifle, maybe an AR-15. Sure enough, it has more magazine capacity, more stopping power per round, easier to shoot accurately, longer range, all that good stuff. But what the handgun does is it can be there with you when you need it, and that makes all the difference in the world. Based on my personal experience and having seen good people get caught in bad situations when shit hits the fan, the opinions people have change. Maybe today you think you're not gonna be armed when going out and about on the street. All of a sudden, crime goes up, people start getting gunned down, and your opinion changes, and all of a sudden you want to be armed on the streets. Maybe you don't even have a choice, and you have to do that to defend yourself and your family. This can be with you. That shotgun, that AR-15 that you first bought, and maybe that's the only gun you have, it cannot do that. So that's why I suggest starting with a quality handgun. In this case, it's a Glock Pistol, which is in my opinion, the obvious answer. Glock 17, this would be it. A Glock 19, slightly smaller. Why? Well, because it is the ubiquitous automatic pistol around the world for police and military and even civilians. Experts go with the Glock for several good reasons. It is extremely reliable, extremely simple, easy to repair. Parts, accessories, magazine sights are everywhere, and it is just a fantastic gun that combines magazine capacity, accuracy, and simplicity like no other. There's just no competition when it comes to Glock, and that's why not only it's a great gun for beginners, but experts as well. Everything from Navy SEALs to the Secret Service, they go with the Glock. It's a gun that has no external manual safety to mess with. It's no longer necessary, in my opinion. If you do your part, you have a good training and a good holster, you know what you're doing, not necessary at all. Now, that doesn't mean that the Glock or an automatic pistol is the answer for everyone. For every guy you see on YouTube doing very cool stuff and shooting boom, 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 there's 100,000 people out there that would be much better served with a revolver. Because even though I can teach someone to use a Glock in a matter of 5 minutes in the range, I'll get them in the range, teach them to load their magazine. You insert your little magazine in there, you put a round in there, you have a round in your chamber, you aim, you pull the trigger, and you shoot, and everyone is happy you're hitting your target. That doesn't mean you're going to be able to clear malfunctions in a fight. And that's the thing that only comes after days, years of training with a certain regularity and frequency. For a lot of people, they're simply not interested in doing that sort of thing, and they just want a gun to defend themselves. For those, a revolver is a better way to go. In this case, this is my Magnum MR73, but a Smith & Wesson, Colt, Ruger, those are all good options. 357 Magnum with about a 4-inch barrel is usually the average recommendation. You can go with a little bit of a longer barrel, 5 inches, if that's what you feel like going with. Why the revolver? Is it more rugged? Is it better, stronger? Absolutely not. The Glock is going to be more durable, stronger, tougher, meaner, and all that stuff. But what the revolver has in its advantage is a more simple user manual. What I mean by this is you open your gun, you put your rounds in there, you close the gun, that is it. Something bad happens, you took your basic defensive shooting class and you know how to hold your gun, someone comes at you, you're scared, you pull the trigger, you're going to be putting a round down range. You pull the trigger again, the famous 6 for sure. Yes, revolvers can and do malfunction. No, it is not really all that common, even though it can happen. But depending on the kind of level of training that you have, for beginners and people that don't have a lot of training and are not expecting to get it, the revolver is a safer option. There are unfortunately several videos on YouTube floating around, security cameras, of people that went with an automatic pistol and just didn't have the training for it. They bring out the gun when their life is in danger, they're about to get shot, they bring out their gun, they forgot to put a round in the chamber, or they didn't put it because it's safer. That means lack of training. They had a manual safety that they forgot about. No, they forgot the safety, they forgot the round here. This would have been a better choice for them, especially for a gun that's being kept at home, just for self-defense, for people that maybe don't even like guns much. This is the better alternative. In 357 Magnum, you have a serious round which has more power than 9mm. You can shoot, of course, the 38 Special as well for those first sessions just to get comfortable with the gun, and then load it with 357 for defense. It is definitely a good way to go. This is the gun, guys, for the folks that think of it as a fire extinguisher, something I want to have at home just in case someone breaks in. I need to defend myself and my family, and I'm not a gun guy. Go with a good revolver. Number 2, and not much of a surprise, is getting a semi-automatic Centerfire rifle, something of a service type of rifle, something that's going to be allowing you to have greater firepower, more magazine capacity, and accuracy at longer ranges. No, chances are you're not as likely to use this as likely as you are compared to using a handgun, but if you have the option, if you can get to it, if you are in a home defense situation and you can actually get to your rifle, then that's of course better. I'm particularly not much of a fan of the AR. I prefer the AK-47. I feel it's a more rugged design, and I like the 30 caliber better, but there's nothing wrong with an AR as long as it's reliable and you know how to use it properly. In this case, I have it with a nice little aim point red dot, which is nice to have, no doubt there, but with your typical iron sights, that's going to be good enough as well. Just make sure you have a solid rifle that you know how to run properly. Number 3, a quality air gun, and it's really a surprise that you don't see these mentioned more often in more lists. In this case, I have a Glock 19 BB licensed copy from Umarex, and on top, this is the Seneca Aspen from Pyramid Air. Why should you own a good air gun? For several reasons. First of all, it's the most affordable way in which you learn proper marksmanship. I started shooting from a very early age with real guns. When I was 15 years old, I did my first defensive shooting course. I shot with 9mm, 45, 38, revolvers, all that good stuff. But when I got back home, I would just pick up my Ellie air rifle and start shooting birds, anything I could get my sights on. That was how I learned those basic skills in terms of proper shooting, trigger control, all that stuff. And if you combine that with how accessible it is, not only in terms of how affordable it is, but also how you can practice in your backyard, even in your basement, it just makes a lot of sense. In the case of the Glock Air Gun, what you have here is a gun that allows you to practice with the same form factor, the same grip, the same sight picture as in your real Glock, and in a much more affordable way, and in your backyard or your basement. That you just cannot beat. In the case of a good air rifle like the Seneca Aspen, in this case, this is and I'm gonna be doing a proper review of this gun soon, so check that out when it's up. But this is the kind of gun that really closes the gap with your 22. It is very powerful. It's a PCP gun that has a built-in pump. That lever comes down and you pump those up, and you have that lever action, and you have a magazine that has a 10-shot capacity, or using it shot by shot. Super accurate, and with this type of gun, you can not only practice playing, have fun, but it's a gun you can use for, most definitely, for pest control and small game hunting. Absolutely no problem there. And again, 22 long rifle, it's cheap, but it's really not that cheap now these days. A pellet gun is just far more affordable. Makes a lot of sense to have one of these in your battery. And besides that, you also have to keep in mind the legal restrictions. These you can buy from pretty much anywhere. These actually ship internationally to pretty much any country, as long as you know whatever legal restrictions apply. But in general, in most countries, you can buy these and they get shipped right to your door without any problem across the United States as well in most cases. And that's not true for guns in pretty much anywhere that you could think of. Number 4 is a quality 22 long rifle. Like this case, it's a Marlin Papoose takedown model in stainless steel. The air gun really does close in the gap quite well in terms of cheap shooting and pest control. but you still want to have a good 22 long rifle. Ammunition is the cheapest ammo in real firearms that you can possibly have. It's one of the most versatile guns as well. This is the kind of gun you would be using for some small game hunting. Again, these days with some of these latest air rifles, you can really close the gap quite a bit, but still the advantage of the 22 long rifle in terms of power is very much quite there. So especially in a model like this one, the takedown model, it's super compact. You can break it down and fits in that case, no problem. Of course, a good option would be the Ruger 1022. It's an American classic and it's all over the place. Parts for accessorizing and customizing the gun are everywhere and all sorts of prices. So that's another good way to go. Number 5, and not much of a surprise, a gun everyone should own, pump action shotgun, 12 gauge. This is a Mossberg 500. I've owned Mossbergs for a number of years. It was my first shotgun, and I know it's a reliable, dependable platform. It's maybe one of the most rugged guns you could possibly have. Super dependent, ammunition is all over the place. We have a wide variety of options, and with a gun like this, where you have the combo, you have the short barrel for home defense and for hunting with those sights. It's actually a quite accurate gun, not much of a surprise there, but a lot of people don't know that with slugs you can get a good shot at 50 yards, no problem whatsoever. A little bit beyond that, absolutely. And then you have the combo barrel there. You can quickly switch one and the other. The longer barrel would be for bird hunting. It's a little bit more tighter choke, so it's going to be keeping those pellets together at greater distance. It's a great gun. It's often recommended as a fantastic home defense gun. I'm a little bit more on the fence there because I think that working both hands for each shot is not much of an advantage, but no question whatsoever, it's a classic for police, for riot control, and it definitely can do a great job for home defense, but I would suggest practicing and training with it a little bit more often because it does require a little bit more skill to use correctly, especially when under a lot of stress, such as in the case of defensive situations. Bonus point gun number 6, the right arm of the free world, the FNFAL. It could be any other 308 semi-automatic battle rifle. It could be the M14. I know you guys like the SETME or the G3 as well. Personally, I prefer the FAL. It is a platform that has aged beautifully over the years. It's still ergonomically very sound. It's old world construction, very rugged, very reliable. It's a gun that you can adjust the gas port so as to know how much gas you have going through it, so as to have a softer, nicer shot. It is just a fantastic gun all around. And the thing is that with a battle rifle, unlike your ARs, this is the kind of gun that's going to be turning cover into concealment. The 308 is a bigger, more powerful round, and it's not so much about the range, and you can definitely get some great accuracy at longer distances putting a scope on this thing without any problem. But beyond that is how much power it has per shot. Let's suppose you are in a more isolated residence, homestead, and the fantasy of you fighting it out with those marauders or looters or whatever it is, this is a gun that's going to be taken more seriously. The battle rifle is no joke. It's not only accurate, it is putting a lot of punch in each of those shots. So that would be, and to be completely honest, if I could only have one rifle, this one is it. This is the one I'd go for in my case. Guys, it's gonna be all for now. Remember to subscribe to the channel. Take care. See you on our next video. Have an awesome day.